Hi, my name is Sean, and I'm part of the Teen Advisory Board, partnered with Howard County Library System. And today we are going to learn about data types and variables for Java. So, what is a variable? In simplest term, it is a box that holds anything. A variable in Java has two properties: the name and the type of data it holds. So, to create a variable, it must follow the following format. So the type name, the type of the variable, and then the name you want to give it, and then you're going to set it equal to some value. So for a specific example, I wanted to store my age, so I specified the type of data, which is an integer, and in Java you say int, and then you give it the name of age, and then you set that equal to 16. So that's a very simple example. So actually I'm going to do that in Eclipse right now. So again, you want to specify the type of variable. So I'm going to use an integer. I'm going to do my age, and I'm going to set that equal to 16. And for integers or for numbers, you don't need to use quotations. All you need is to type the number and end it with a semicolon. And if you're not familiar, to check what the variable, what the value of the variable is, you want to use the print function or the print function. And the way you do that is by typing out system.out.print line, and then you type the name of the variable. You have to type it exactly, and then you just do that. So now once you do that, you save and you run, and it prints out 16. Quick tip, you can do shortcuts in Eclipse. So for me, I don't type out the entire thing. I just do sys out, and then I press Control plus, and then it automatically fills it in for you. And there are other shortcuts too. For example, if you created a file and you didn't want to type out this entire main method, you could type out main, and then you could do Control plus, and then it will pop up for you, and you can just press enter. But you don't need that because I already created it, so I'm just going to delete this. So that's just a quick tip. It's going to make programming a lot faster for you. And the last tip for you is formatting the code. So let's say it's a little bit messy. You can press Control Shift F, and then it will automatically format everything for you. So that's 3 quick tips to make your programming a little faster. Okay, back to the main presentation. So what is a data type? A data type is a specific way of how a computer should store and deal with data depending on the nature of the data. It is similar to human senses. So for example, your sight, you can see 5 miles away, but you might not be able to smell 5 miles away or touch that far. So there are different rules to different senses, and it's the same for programming. In Java, there are primitive data types and non-primitive data types, and so we're going to focus on these types of data first. So a primitive data basically specifies the size and variable values. So for example, let's say I wanted to store a number, and it's super large, so I would have to use a different type of variable for it. In this case, I would use something like long, and it stores a very large, it has the capacity to store a very large number. So here are the numbers, the number variables. So from left to right, they increase in size. So byte, short, int, long. And so you can look up the table for the sizes, but you don't have to worry about that right now. So I will show you how to create a one of these variables. Again, what you do is you want to specify a variable type. So in this case, I would use, let's say I wanted to store a small number, so I would use byte. And then I would do age, or no, let's just name it num. then I would use 5. And then to check the value, I just type in the variable name and I run it. Here you go. So that's how you create a byte, and it works with it works with all of these. So try and feel free for yourself to just check out and test these things. One thing you could do with these variables is to do math with them, so you can set them to math equations. So for example, let's say I wanted to do int population, and I know that there are 700 people within me in a 1 mile radius on average, and then I wanted to multiply that by 5. So let's say I don't know that value and I don't want to use a calculator. The computer will do the math for you. So that's one useful thing you can do. This is the multiplication sign. This is the asterisk. You can also use the division sign, the addition sign, and the subtraction sign. And there are other math operators that you can use, but we're not really focused on that right now. So just know that you can set variables equal to math equations. The next type of variables that you want to use or you have available are float and double, and these are decimal numbers. And so if you want to be extremely precise in your calculations, you should use doubles because they store a large amount of decimals, while float, they don't use as much. I think float is around 6 to 7 decimals. That's as accurate as they can be, while double can be around 15. I think they can hold 15 decimal numbers. So if you want to be very specific, use double. So I will do the same thing. Just specify what type of variable you want to use, which is double. And let's choose a very famous one, pi. So you do 3.1415, and so you stored a decimal. And so I want to check out the value of pi, and I print it. There you go. So what happens if I use an integer for this? Well, Java doesn't like that. So what happens is that the language will suggest to either change the type of variable or a casting, and you can click either one of these to find out. But if I try running this, there will be an error, so make sure your variable types are correct. And an easy fix for this is just to change what type of variable it is, so you just change it back to double, and the red line will be gone. So that's one thing you want to look out for. Another thing is booleans. The booleans are basically true or false values. There's only two possible values for booleans, so all you have to do is type in boolean, and then you do my val or anything you want to name it, and then you set it equal to true, and then yeah. So it's not really useful right now, but you can use them for conditionals later, and you can also do false. There you go. And the last one is char, and basically this stores a single character. What this does is if you want to store a single character, then here you go. That's your character, and you can name it. You can have the variable name, whatever you want. And in this case, you want to use single quotes, I'm pretty sure, and then you just do a single character. And there you go. So that's one thing. But if you do more than one character, there's an error. So you don't want that to happen. You can also store characters, I mean symbols. So the pound sign, the dollar sign, the percent sign, anything you want. So that's the char variable. And the last variable is the string variable, and it's basically a variable that stores plain English. So if you want to store a sentence, a paragraph, a name, or anything you want, then you can use a string variable. And it follows the same thing. So what you want to do is type out string, and then you give it a name, and then you set that equal to whatever you want. So I'll do I like to eat pie. And so that's the sentence. Make sure you end it with a semicolon. And to check the value of it again, you do my sentence. Type in the name of the variable within the print function. And then you press play. And here you go. That's your English sentence. The last thing I want to teach you is the rules for giving variable names. So Java is very lenient and strict at the same time. You do not want to start off a variable name with numbers. So let's say I wanted to give it start off with a 1. This is not allowed. This is just a rule to this is how Java functions. So you can't start with numbers. You can't also start with special characters like squiggly signs, exclamation points, percent signs. So just don't do that. Always start off with a character. And the last thing you do not want to do is have spaces in between your variable names. So Java sees this as it just doesn't make sense. It's a syntax error. So make sure that if you want to have spaces, you use the underscore. You can also do camel case where you capitalize every single word after the first word, so it looks like a camel because there's a little hump sticking out. So you can also do that. So yeah, those are the rules of Java. I hope that you learned and have a basic idea of the different ways a computer stores information. And yeah, thank you for watching.